My mom chose my golden child sister's concert over my 18th birthday and stole my college fund too. So I took back everything she owed me. Hey Reddit, I wasn't sure if I wanted to share this, but after thinking about it, I decided it might help to get it off my chest. So a few weeks ago I turned 18. Yeah, the big 18. I had it all planned, a small party at home with my friends, nothing crazy, just pizza, some snacks, maybe some games or music, something chill, just the way I like it. But let me tell you, things didn't go the way I hoped. In fact, my birthday ended up being one of the worst days I've had in a long time, and I honestly feel like I need to vent about it. So buckle up because this is kind of a long story. Let me start with a little context. I have a younger sister, Rachel, who's 16. She's 2 years younger than me but somehow manages to feel like the center of the universe in our family. She's outgoing, super bubbly, and the kind of person who can talk her way into or out of anything. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but when you're her older sister, it can feel exhausting to say the least. And then there's my mom. Ever since we lost my dad 2 years ago, it's like she and Rachel have this unbreakable bond. They do everything together, shopping, watching movies, going on these little girl trips. Meanwhile, I'm just there. Don't get me wrong, I know my mom loves me, but it's like she doesn't see me the same way she sees Rachel. Rachel gets all the attention, all the praise, and all the support. Me? I get told I'm the strong one, which is basically code for figure it out yourself. It's not like this was the first time something like this happened. My sister Rachel has always been the star of the family, especially after Dad passed away. Growing up, I didn't really notice the favoritism, if any. It felt like Dad balanced things out pretty well. Rachel and Mom were always closer. Mom called her her little twin, but Dad made sure to spend time with me. He encouraged my love of art and books, and he never made me feel less than Rachel, even though we were so different. Losing him 2 years ago was like losing the one person who truly saw me. Since then, it's been all Rachel, all the time. She's the kind of person who lights up a room, charismatic, funny, and good at getting people to like her. Meanwhile, I'm quieter and more introverted. I'm not the type to command attention, and honestly, I don't even want to. But that doesn't mean I enjoy being ignored, you know? Mom has this habit of acting like Rachel's life is the most important thing in the world. Every little drama she has becomes a family crisis. Like when Rachel failed a math test last year, Mom spent weeks tutoring her and even hired a private teacher to make sure she passed the next one. Meanwhile, I had to beg her for weeks just to get art supplies for a school project. She said something like, "You're creative. You'll figure it out." And that's the thing, she expects me to figure it out because I'm the strong one. It's exhausting. The favoritism became painfully obvious when Dad died. Rachel was devastated, of course, and Mom threw herself into making sure Rachel was okay. I understood at first. We were all grieving, and Rachel was just 14 at the time. But as time went on, it became clear that Mom wasn't just comforting Rachel, she was building this whole new life around her. They started going on these girl trips together, leaving me at home to watch the house. They'd come back with shopping bags and inside jokes, and I'd just sit there pretending I didn't care. This concert situation was just the latest example of that dynamic. When Rachel found out her favorite band was coming to town, she acted like it was a once-in-a-lifetime event. And maybe for her it was, but for me, it was just another reminder that my needs don't matter as much. Here's the kicker. Rachel didn't even try to hide how much she didn't care about my birthday. She spent the days leading up to it obsessing over the concert. What she was going to wear, which song she hoped they'd play, how close she'd get to the stage. Every time she talked about it, it felt like she was rubbing salt in the wound. I tried to tell myself it wasn't intentional, but honestly, I'm not so sure. Rachel has always been good at getting her way, and I think on some level, she knows how much it bothers me when she takes up all the space. The morning of the concert, aka my birthday, I overheard her talking to Mom in the kitchen. She was laughing about how boring my plans sounded, and how lucky she was that Mom understood what was really important. I know I should have let it go, but hearing that broke something in me. I stormed into the kitchen and asked Mom how she could just forget about my birthday like that. She gave me this exasperated look and said, "We didn't forget, we'll celebrate later. Rachel's concert is a big deal. You're mature enough to understand, right?" That word, mature, felt like a slap in the face. I don't think I've ever hated being called mature as much as I did in that moment. It's like she was saying, your feelings don't matter because you're old enough to suck it up. And Rachel, of course, just stood there smirking, like she'd won some kind of competition. I wanted to scream at both of them. I wanted to say, "What about me? What about what I want?" But I didn't. I just walked away because what was the point? They weren't going to listen. They never do. That evening, after they left for the concert, I sat in Dad's old recliner with one of his sweatshirts. It still smells like him even after all this time. I don't know why, but holding on to it made me feel a little less alone. I thought about how things used to be when he was here. How he'd always make me feel special on my birthday, even if it was something small like baking a cake together or watching a movie. He had this way of making me feel like I mattered. I don't feel that way anymore. I tried distracting myself by watching TV, but I couldn't focus. My friends texted me asking how the party was going, and I didn't even know how to respond. I ended up turning off my phone and crying until I fell asleep. Looking back, I think that night was the breaking point for me. It wasn't just about the concert or my birthday. It was about years of being treated like an afterthought. I don't think I realized how much it had been building up until it all came crashing down. The morning after my birthday, I woke up feeling like a mess. My face was puffy from crying, my head was pounding, and honestly, I didn't even want to get out of bed. But then the doorbell rang. At first I thought it was Mom and Rachel coming home early. I wasn't ready to deal with either of them, so I stayed in bed, hoping they'd just let themselves in. But the doorbell kept ringing. After the third time, I dragged myself out of bed and shuffled to the door. When I opened it, I couldn't believe who was standing there. It was Uncle Matt, my dad's younger brother. He was holding a duffel bag and wearing this look that was equal parts concern and determination. "Happy belated birthday, kiddo," he said, stepping inside like he belonged there, and honestly, it felt like he did. Uncle Matt and my dad were close, like, really close. Growing up, he was around a lot. He'd come to family dinners, take us to the park, and sometimes even babysit when Mom and Dad had a date night. He was the fun uncle who never took himself too seriously. But after Dad passed away, I barely saw him. Mom kind of cut ties with Dad's side of the family. I never knew why, but I figured it was just too painful for her to be around them. Seeing him now, out of the blue, felt surreal. He put his bag down and gave me a once-over. "You look like you've had a rough couple of days," he said, not unkindly. I didn't know how to respond, so I just nodded. We sat down in the living room, and he asked how I was doing. At first I tried to play it cool, saying something like, "I'm fine," but Uncle Matt wasn't buying it. He gave me this look that said, "Cut the crap. I heard from a little birdie that yesterday didn't exactly go the way you wanted," he said. I guess my grandparents, Dad's parents, must have told him about my birthday being canceled. They're the only ones on Dad's side I'm still in touch with, and I'd mentioned it to them during a phone call a few days before. That was all it took for the floodgates to open. I don't know what it was about him being there, but I just started talking. About how Mom and Rachel left me for a concert, how they've been treating me like an afterthought ever since Dad died, how I missed him so much it physically hurts sometimes. I didn't even realize I was crying until Uncle Matt handed me a tissue. He didn't interrupt or try to give me advice. He just let me talk. And when I was done, he sat back in his chair and said, "This is absolute bullshit." That made me laugh a little, even though I was still crying. Uncle Matt always had a way of cutting through the noise and saying exactly what he thought. "You don't deserve this," he said. "Your dad wouldn't have stood for it, and neither will I. Pack your bags, you're coming with me." I just stared at him, completely stunned. "I can't just leave. Mom would freak out. Let her freak out," he said. "She needs to wake up. You're her daughter, not some glorified babysitter for the house." I hesitated. As much as I wanted to leave, the thought of actually doing it felt scary. What if it made things worse? What if Mom cut me off completely? But Uncle Matt must have seen the doubt on my face because he leaned forward and said, "Listen to me. You don't owe them anything. Not after the way they've treated you. You deserve to be somewhere you're actually appreciated." That hit me hard. No one had ever said something like that to me before, not in those words anyway. For the first time in a long time, I felt like someone was on my side. So I did it. I went upstairs and packed a bag. I didn't take much, just some clothes, my sketchbook, and a few things that reminded me of Dad. When I came back downstairs, Uncle Matt was waiting with his duffel bag over his shoulder. "Ready?" he asked. I nodded, and just like that, we walked out the door. Berkey. I don't know what's going to happen next. Uncle Matt says I can stay with him as long as I need to, but I know there's going to be fallout when Mom and Rachel come back and realize I'm gone. I'm not sure how I feel about it yet. Part of me is scared, but part of me feels free. For now, I'm just trying to take it one day at a time. I'll update again once I figure out where this is all headed. Thanks for reading, and for all the support so far. It means more than you know. Update 1. Hey Reddit. Thanks again for sticking with me through all of this. Your comments and messages have meant so much to me. I've been working through a lot of emotions since the last update, and I'm finally ready to share what happened next. Spoiler alert, things got intense. So after I packed my bag and left with Uncle Matt, we didn't go straight to his place. Instead, we stopped at a nearby diner. He said he wanted to grab a bite to eat and let me decompress a little before dealing with the inevitable storm. I didn't realize how much I needed that until I was sitting in the booth, sipping a milkshake while he told me funny stories about him and my dad growing up. For the first time in days, maybe weeks, I felt like I could breathe. But eventually, the moment of calm had to end. Uncle Matt looked at me over his coffee and said, "All right, kiddo, time to face the music." We headed back to my house, and when we pulled into the driveway, Mom and Rachel's car was already there. My stomach dropped. I could see the living room light on through the window, and it looked like Mom was pacing to and fro. Rachel was nowhere in sight, but I figured she was probably upstairs. Typical. Uncle Matt parked the car and turned to me. "You don't have to say anything if you don't want to," he said. "I'll handle it." I nodded, too nervous to speak. My heart was pounding as we walked up to the door. Uncle Matt didn't even knock. He just opened it and strode inside like he owned the place. "Hey, big sis," he called out, his voice dripping with sarcasm. "You got a minute?" Mom came rushing out of the kitchen, looking both confused and annoyed. "Matt, what are you doing here, and why?" Her eyes landed on me, and her expression shifted to something that looked like guilt. "What's going on? What's going on?" Uncle Matt said, his voice sharp. "Is that your daughter has been treated like crap for the past 2 years, and I'm done watching it happen." Mom's face turned red. "Excuse me? What are you talking about?" "Oh, come on," Uncle Matt snapped. "Don't play dumb. You left her alone on her 18th birthday so you could take Rachel to a concert, and that's just the tip of the iceberg, isn't it? You've been favoring Rachel for years, and you don't even see what it's doing to her." Mom looked like she wanted to argue, but she couldn't. Instead, she crossed her arms and said, "This isn't any of your business, Matt. It's my business when my niece is sitting at home crying because her mom and sister can't be bothered to care about her." He shot back. "Tom would be rolling in his grave if he knew how you've been treating her." That hit a nerve. Mom flinched, and for a second, I thought she was going to yell at him. But instead, she just said, "You don't know what it's been like. I've been doing my best. Raising 2 kids alone isn't easy." "No one's saying it is," Uncle Matt said, his tone softening just a little. "But neglecting one of them while you pour all your energy into the other? That's not doing your best. That's playing favorites." By now, Rachel had come downstairs. She was leaning against the wall, scrolling on her phone like she couldn't care less. When Uncle Matt noticed her, he raised an eyebrow. "And you," he said, pointing at her. "You've been walking all over your sister for years, and you know it." Rachel looked up from her phone, rolling her eyes. "Oh, please, she's just being dramatic." Uncle Matt laughed, but there was no humor in it. "Right, because being forgotten on your 18th birthday is dramatic. Got it." Rachel didn't respond. She just went back to scrolling, which honestly hurt more than if she'd argued. It was like she didn't even think I was worth her time. Mom tried to steer the conversation back to her. "Look, Matt, I get that you're upset, but you don't understand the full picture." "Then explain it to me," Uncle Matt said. "Explain why your full picture involves ignoring one of your kids and letting the other get away with murder." Mom opened her mouth, but no words came out. She looked at me then, and I could see the guilt in her eyes. For a split second, I thought she was going to apologize. But instead, she turned back to Uncle Matt and said, "I didn't realize she felt that way. I thought she was fine." "That's the problem," Uncle Matt said. "You didn't realize, you didn't ask. You just assumed she'd be okay because she's the mature one, right?" "She's not okay," I said, my voice shaking. "And it's your job to fix that." At this point, I couldn't stay silent anymore. "You didn't even text me yesterday," I said. "Not once. I spent my entire birthday alone, and you didn't even care." Mom's face crumpled. "I'm sorry," she said. "I didn't know it was that bad." "You didn't bother to find out," I said. "You've been so focused on Rachel that you don't even see me anymore." There was a long silence after that. Mom looked like she wanted to say something, but no words came out. Rachel disappeared upstairs without a word, and Uncle Matt just stood there, arms crossed, waiting for her to respond. Finally, Mom said, "What do you want me to do?" Uncle Matt didn't miss a beat. "For starters, let her come stay with me for a while. She needs a break from this house, and frankly, you need to figure out how to do better." Mom hesitated but eventually nodded. "If that's what she wants," she said quietly. It is, I said. It's what I want. And just like that, it was decided. I grabbed the rest of my things, and Uncle Matt and I left. Mom didn't try to stop me, and Rachel didn't even say goodbye. When we left my mom's house, we didn't talk much on the drive to Uncle Matt's place. I think he could tell I was emotionally drained. Instead, he let the radio fill the silence. He's got this old truck with a beat-up stereo, and he played one of those classic rock stations that Dad used to love. It was weirdly comforting, like a piece of Dad was still with us. A few nights ago, Uncle Matt and I were sitting on the porch after dinner. We've been doing this thing where we just hang out, talk about life, and try to piece everything together. He asked me casually, "So, have you decided which colleges you're applying to?" At first, I thought he was joking. I let out this awkward laugh and said, "I'm not applying to college." That made him pause. "Why not?" he asked, genuinely surprised. I shrugged and told him the truth. I don't have the money, and I don't want to take on a ton of debt. Mom always said we couldn't afford it. Uncle Matt looked at me like I'd just told him the sky was green. "Wait a second," he said. "You don't know about your college fund?" At that moment, I felt like the world stopped. "What college fund?" I asked, my voice shaky. He stared at me for a second, then rubbed his temples like he was trying to calm himself down. "Your dad set up a college fund for you when you were a baby. I remember because he wouldn't shut up about it. He was so proud of planning ahead for your future." "Are you telling me you've never heard of it?" I shook my head, my stomach churning. If there was a college fund, why hadn't anyone told me? Why had Mom always said we didn't have money? Uncle Matt didn't waste any time. He got up, grabbed his laptop and said, "Let's check this out right now." We spent the next hour trying to track down the account. Uncle Matt remembered enough details to get us started, and after some digging, we found it. Sure enough, there was an account in my name, just like he said. But when we looked at the balance, my heart sank. It was practically empty. I stared at the screen, trying to make sense of what I was seeing. Uncle Matt scrolled through the transaction history, muttering curses under his breath. The withdrawals started shortly after Dad died, small amounts at first, then larger ones over time. And they weren't for anything related to college. The money had been spent on clothes, trips, concert tickets, and God knows what else. I didn't want to believe it, but the evidence was right there. My dad had set this money aside for my future, and Mom had drained it. "What the hell?" Uncle Matt muttered, his face darkening. "This was supposed to be for you." I didn't know what to say. I felt like someone had punched me in the stomach. All those times Mom told me we couldn't afford things. Art supplies, extracurricular activities, even little things like new shoes. This was what she was doing instead. And all while Rachel's trust fund, set up by Dad's parents, sat untouched. The more I thought about it, the angrier I got. Rachel had always had the best of everything: designer clothes, the latest gadgets, VIP tickets to concerts. It all made sense now. Mom hadn't been budgeting carefully or making sacrifices for both of us. She'd been using my college fund to bankroll Rachel's lifestyle. I turned to Uncle Matt and asked, "How could she do this? Didn't she know what that money was for?" He sighed and shook his head. "She knew. Your dad made sure of it. He even made me promise to check in on it if anything ever happened to him. I guess I dropped the ball on that, and I'm sorry." "It's not your fault," I said, even though I felt like crying. "You didn't know." He put a hand on my shoulder and said, "Well, I know now, and I'm not letting this slide." That is it for today. I will keep you all updated. Update 2. Hey Reddit, I wasn't sure if I wanted to share this part of the story. It's been messy and emotionally draining, but I feel like I owe it to myself to get it out. After discovering what Mom did with my college fund, I decided I wasn't going to just sit back and let it slide. With Uncle Matt's help, I confronted her, and things got intense. Here's what happened. After we found out Mom had drained the college fund Dad set up for me, Uncle Matt encouraged me to stand up for myself. "This isn't just about the money," he said. "It's about making her take responsibility for what she did." At first, I didn't know if I had it in me to confront her. She's my mom, and despite everything, there's still a part of me that wants her approval. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized this wasn't just about me. Dad worked hard to give me a future, and she had no right to take that away. If I didn't stand up for myself now, I'd regret it forever. Uncle Matt helped me reach out to a lawyer, a friend of his who specializes in family law. We explained the situation, and she told us we had a strong case if we could prove Mom misused the funds, which we could, thanks to the transaction history. We'd be able to demand repayment or even take her to court. The idea of suing my own mother felt surreal, but at this point, I was willing to do whatever it took to make things right. We arranged to meet Mom at Uncle Matt's house. I didn't tell her why, I just said we needed to talk. When she arrived, she looked nervous, which wasn't surprising. She'd been trying to call and text me for days, but I hadn't responded. The first thing she said when she walked in was, "I'm so sorry, honey. I never meant for it to get this bad." I didn't respond right away. Instead, I handed her the folder with all the documents, proof of the college fund, the transaction history, everything. She flipped through it, her face going pale. "This isn't just bad," I said, my voice shaking. "This is theft, Mom. You stole from me." "I didn't steal," she said quickly, looking up at me. I borrowed it. I always planned to pay it back." "With what?" I snapped. "You've had years to replace the money, and you haven't. Meanwhile, Rachel's trust fund is sitting untouched." She opened her mouth to respond but closed it again. She looked like she wanted to cry, but I wasn't in the mood to let her off the hook. "That money wasn't yours to touch," I said. "It was Dad's gift to me, for my future, and you used it to spoil Rachel." "She needed things," Mom started, but I cut her off. "She didn't need designer clothes or concert tickets," I said. "She didn't need any of the crap you spent that money on. You just didn't care about me enough to protect what was mine." At that point, Uncle Matt stepped in. "This isn't just a family disagreement anymore," he said. "This is a legal issue. My niece has every right to take you to court for this." Mom's eyes widened. "You wouldn't," she said, looking at me like I'd just threatened to set the house on fire. "I would," I said. "And I will, unless you agree to make it right." With the lawyer present, we laid out our demands. I told Mom I wanted the full amount of the college fund returned. Since she obviously didn't have the money up front, we proposed a payment plan, monthly payments, until the entire balance was repaid. The lawyer drafted a formal agreement on the spot, and Mom looked at it like it was a death sentence. "I can't afford this," she said. "How am I supposed to make these payments?" "You should have thought about that before you spent the money," Uncle Matt said coldly. For a moment I thought she was going to refuse, but then she sighed and said, "Fine, I'll do it." She signed the agreement with the lawyer as a witness, promising to pay me a set amount every month until the fund was fully restored. I thought I'd feel victorious, but honestly, I mostly felt tired. The confrontation had taken so much out of me emotionally that I didn't even know how to process it. Part of me was proud of myself for standing up to her, but another part of me felt heartbroken. This was my mom. She was supposed to protect me, not betray me. Uncle Matt tried to cheer me up afterward. "You did the right thing," he said. "Your dad would be proud of you. I hope he's right." I think about Dad a lot these days. How hard he worked to give me a future. How much he believed in me. It's still hard to accept that Mom didn't feel the same way. But at least now I'm taking steps to reclaim what's mine. Mom's first payment is due next month. I don't know if she'll follow through, but if she doesn't, the agreement is legally binding, and I'll have no problem taking her to court. I'm done letting her walk all over me. As for Rachel, she still doesn't know what happened, or if she does, she hasn't said anything. Part of me wonders if she'll ever realize how much her privileged lifestyle cost me, but honestly, I don't care anymore. I'm done trying to make her or Mom understand. For now, I'm focusing on myself. I've been looking into colleges again, and with Uncle Matt's help, I feel like I might actually have a shot at making it work. It's not the path I thought I'd take, but it's mine, and that feels pretty good. Thanks again for reading and for all the support. I'll keep you updated if anything else happens, but for now, I'm just trying to move forward. If anyone has advice on dealing with family relationships after something like this, I'd love to hear it. Until next time.